to another episode of... That sounds dumb. Now I almost said, hey, everybody.
See? It's
hello,
harder than you think.
Mannschrecks fans. Nah, you're not a fan of me. Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of the Mannschrecks. I'm Sarah.
Well-established precept that you are people's favorite part of this show. Like, I'm not why people listen. People enjoy you far more than they enjoy me. Like,
I think that's false because I don't think anybody actually listens. So the only person listening is you, and you're my biggest fan. Yay! That's actually really encouraging.
I'm going to go with that. I love it. I'm just going to deny the existence of any other listeners. It's just me. It's only me. Forget all those
So when you say, we got 100 new listeners this week, it's just you listening 100 times.
It's just me. That's how much I love you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. It's August. You'd be better off saying happy anniversary.
We're getting close. It's a couple weeks, but oh my gosh. It's been a while. We have not recorded. We had some crazy plumbing stuff.
Awful house stuff, yeah.
Yeah, we dropped no new episodes, but I'm excited to be back in the saddle because I've got some funny stories. I was like, oh man, do I have any stories ready for the podcast? And I opened up my folder and I actually had a bunch. And I was like, I forgot about these stories.
Nice.
So I'm excited. So
very cool.
Are you ready to dive in?
I am.
All right, you want to go first?
Sure. My first story is pretty short and simple. My first story is pretty short and simple. So my first story is what we all aspire to be. A man in Iowa has broken the world record for harvesting the largest eggplant.
Yes.
8.5 pounds.
That's so gross. I don't like eggplant.
But it's funny because it doesn't even look like an eggplant. It looks like a purple pumpkin.
Oh, that is. That's a pumpkin size. It's not even that big.
It's a pumpkin-sized eggplant, but it's apparently now the world record holder.
To be honest, looking at that, that's not that big. I would have thought, like 30 pounds.
For an eggplant, it is. Usually because eggplants are pretty lightweight. Like, eggplants are one of those one of those vegetables that you look at and you're like, that's hefty. You think it's heavy.
But when you pick it up,
like a zucchini, but it's actually not. It's actually fairly lightweight if you pick it up. So apparently Dave Bennett from Davis County had his eggplant examined by the inspector. Sorry, I had to stop there.
That sounds wrong.
That was very strange. Anyways, so he had it examined, and it was confirmed that the 8.5 pound eggplant is the largest in the world.
This is a family podcast.
He says, I've been growing eggplant. Grandpa Mannschrecks. I've been growing eggplants for probably 5 years now, he said. 2 years ago, I set the state record at 5.5 pounds. He said the Guinness World Record has been in contact with him to tell him that his application for the record was approved. The previous record was 7.2 pounds in England in 2022. Eventually, I will have a plaque that says I grew the world's largest eggplant, he says. And that's the end of the story. Oh, I just think that's so funny.
I love it. It's bizarre.
It's so funny, but...
I don't like eggplant. I've had it a few times. There was one time where someone made a dish and it was really good, but it was because I couldn't tell it was eggplant.
You don't like baba ganoush?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a Mediterranean dish with
maybe
eggplant.
Have I had it before?
Probably.
I don't think so.
Either way, eggplant's a hard food for me.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my mom used to make eggplant parmesan, and it was so mushy
not
to me.
It
was not a good representation of eggplant parmesan. It was like, this is what I make, and
but that's
you're
all you know, and so that's what you think all of it is.
I thought I didn't like it, and then I got older, and I had like really good baba ganoush, or I had really good like Mediterranean dishes that had eggplant in it, and I realized I do actually like eggplant. If it's in certain ways.
Yeah,
I still cannot to this day eat eggplant parmesan. Like, don't make it for me. I will have... It'll all come screaming back to me.
I promise I won't.
But yeah, so it's an interesting vegetable. So
see, when I was in college, I had a philosophy professor, and we did like everybody make a meal and bring it in or something. I can't even remember. It was like we were going to eat together as a class, and he was vegan, and he brought in a eggplant dish of some sort.
It's like a substitute for...
Yeah, and it was like my first semester at Calvin. It was my first time away from home. And
it was your first interaction with a vegan?
Pretty much. Like, I was like, I don't know. What is this new species of human? I don't even understand.
What is vegan?
So, no, I just kind of was like, all right, I'll try it. And I was very skeptical because that
is how you do most of life.
Yes,
like, when the first time I ever encouraged you to eat spinach and artichoke dip.
Yep,
it was
gross.
like...
Nope, it's green.
It was like a kid at the breakfast table.
It looks like lettuce soaked in boogers. Like, it's not a appetizing looking thing. But then once you taste it, you're like, oh, this is delicious. What?
There's so many things to say, but we'll just end there with, what's your story today, JJ?
Fish Cake Fury sees Norwegian game canceled after VAR protest.
What?
So VAR stands for Video Assistant Referee.
Okay.
Whatever that means. So the match of Norwegian top flight between Rosenborg BK and Lillestrøm was suspended after fans showed their displeasure by throwing fish cakes onto the field.
Ew. So like what? Like fish cakes, what is that? Like is it like a patty made of fish?
That's what I'm imagining.
Like tuna patties or
yeah,
something?
I'm imagining like a Popeye's sandwich.
Oh,
you know,
like
the
a
little
fillet
patty.
of fish?
I don't know. I could be wrong. Like it's a fish cake, and you just throw it. Protesters.
You make it sound like it's, I don't know, it's like a fish cake and you throw it. Yeah, come on. Everybody does this. Everybody's throwing fish cakes.
Everybody knows that's what fish cakes are for.
Whatever.
Protests started from the kickoff. After a 2-minute bombardment of fish cakes, the referees had to stop the match.
It's like throwing octopi on the
yes,
ice.
exactly like that. Man, remember
Come
those
on,
days?
People. You don't even remember those days.
No, I don't. You told me about those days. I remember
you make me sound
telling
like I'm 900 years old. You remember those days.
So they sent the players like back to their dressing rooms. Then the match restarted and the protests intensified.
I assume this is soccer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's so gross. Why did they all have? There's some reason for this.
So the virtual, what's it called? Video assistant referee makes people mad.
Okay.
And so they were very upset about that. So then they restarted the game, but the protests intensified, and they switched from fish cakes to tennis balls and smoke bombs getting thrown onto the field.
Whoa!
The referee abandoned the match around a half-an-hour mark with a score of 0-0.
What a bummer for the players.
Isn't it just like, whoa?
I'd be so mad.
So there's been criticism from other leagues. Sweden's top league decided on April not to implement VAR due to opposition from the clubs. People are very upset about this VAR thing. The problem is they don't say why. Like why people are mad.
What is it? I guess I don't understand.
I don't know. A video assistant referee. To me, it seems like a ref that is computers.
Like AI something or other.
Rather than a person. Or something.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but people are big mad. I just got attracted by the headline that said fish cakes. That's the end of the article. They don't tell us.
And they were just whipping fish cakes all over the yard. The field.
Fans highlight that VAR creates consistent feelings of doubt and hope due to the suspense it creates during key matches. They also felt that the VAR is currently ambiguous as well as disruptive to the time and flow of football matches. Football being soccer.
Yeah, I caught that.
So yeah, I still don't quite understand that. It's like
but they feel very strongly about it.
They're throwing.
That's very interesting. Gross too, like super smelly.
Also, I need to Google a picture of fish cakes real quick and see what's a fish cake. Yeah, it looks like a little patty. Actually, you know what it looks like is those little. Remember the fish cakes that you used to make with the spinach and the tuna. Is that what it was? Like tuna patties?
Oh, I make tuna patties. That's
that's what they look like.
Yeah,
they're
that's what I
throwing
thought.
those on the field.
Yeah.
I don't understand why though. They don't seem the best for throwing. You know,
No, they kind of come apart.
Yeah. So, fish.
I guess the idea is that they're like stinky. Also, Norway. A lot of seafood. That makes sense.
Although I do want to mention there is a picture of a cake that is frosted like a fish in this answer that the internet has given me.
No.
This is why we can't give AI control.
Come on. This is screwing it up.
All right. Do you have another story?
I do have another story.
What do you got?
All right. So this makes me sad, and no shame to this woman. Like, this is just, I would be so sad if this was my life. A California woman has 100 different allergies and is restricted to eating just 13 foods.
Sounds horrible.
It does. Doesn't it make you sad? So this woman who's 21 is allergic to 100 different foods and has always been labeled as sensitive. So she has 13 foods, which has been her personal menu.
What are they though? Are they like...
So it says this woman, Jenna Gestetner, is a 20-year-old woman from Los Angeles who is diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome at a young age. So it's known as a condition in which the patient experiences repeated episodes of anaphylaxis, such as hives, swelling, low blood pressure, difficulty breathing, and severe diarrhea, according to the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology. So she told the source that she's suffered seemingly random health issues her entire life. I was labeled as sensitive. I had sensitive skin, a sensitive stomach, and I always got sick and injured easily. When I was 12, it started getting worse. She realized the symptoms became worse, especially when she was eating certain foods. So she would eat certain foods and get terrible reactions. So she tried doing elimination diets to see if her symptoms would improve. When she was 18, she was eating less than 15 foods and knew that she needed concrete answers for physical health, but also mental health. So after years of confusion, she was finally diagnosed with MCAS and is now restricted to only 13 foods that she can eat without any issues. So it's not that she can't eat other things, but she just has issues with them.
Wow.
I just think that sounds like a miserable life. It says, the 13 foods I can eat are whitefish, turkey, green beans, zucchini, cucumber, lime, dates, grapes, raspberries, pears, chia seeds, water, lily seeds. What the heck are water lily seeds. What are water lily seeds?
I don't know.
And olive oil. That's it.
That sounds like a salad. Like that's,
it does.
That is the one thing she can eat is a salad with fish on it.
It sounds so...
Well, I don't mind.
She says she
things.
can't eat out. She says she's so terrified to eat out because most restaurants don't have any way to like make things completely like...
You know that whole thing with peanuts when they were like, wow, peanut allergies are spiking, and it's because everybody got really afraid. But then they realized if you expose a kid to peanut butter early on, the chances of them being allergic drop significantly.
Significantly.
So you ever wonder if it's like, okay, you just have to expose kids like when they're really little to like all the different things and they will overcome, you know what I mean? Like
if they have a true allergy, it's going to present. But if they if there's a possibility
if there's
of
an environmental factor, it seems to me like
well, and sometimes kids can outgrow their allergy too.
Yeah,
there are kids that you know you have a milk allergy, like a true milk allergy, not just like I think my kid's allergic to milk. But like a true milk allergy, they can outgrow that. Not always, but sometimes they can. But I'm like, man, that just sounds so sad. I would like not being able to eat out. Like she says,
well, just even there's not much you can make at home.
No.
You can't make a sandwich with bread. You know, you can't make a quesadilla.
I mean,
chips
this lunch
and
looks.
cheese,
The
hot dogs.
sad thing is like she can't have a lot of spices. So like she made this dish and it just looks so sad. It's like zucchini noodles with like chicken on top.
See, and like, and I guess
no
my
offense,
thing, I wouldn't mind that for a meal. Right? But to eat that for every
all
meal,
the time,
because that's all you got. You got 13 options, and most of them are like, condiments. That
it says on a day-to-day basis, she tends to eat the same thing. It includes turkey and chia seed pudding for breakfast, protein with vegetables for lunch and dinner, and fruit or water lily seeds for snacks. What the heck are water lily seeds? I'm going to look this up.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
The important thing for me is eating enough calories as well as a balance of all the types of food so I can make sure I'm getting as many essential nutrients as possible. That's the part that would really make me feel like
tough.
You would have so many gaps in your diet that you would need to supplement significantly so that you don't have health or mineral and vitamin deficiencies. Like, how do you get all the food you need?
I remember when I was a kid, they would like picture the future, and it was like you eat everything in a pill form. You know, it's like a little cube, and you pour water on it, and it turns into food.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything was these little things. But now I'm thinking, oh, we're just allergic. Like we are not able to be a functioning human.
It's just some food she has to stay away from: rice, pasta, bread, crackers, red meat, chicken, lettuce, apples, lemon, and many seasonings.
So if I'm thinking about the food pyramid,
so
it's the bottom like whole third. You know?
It's just
and then
so
the
sad.
The right side as well.
I just can't. I can't even wrap my mind around that. It seems like allergies and food allergies and sensitivities are becoming so much more prevalent these days than they ever were before. So,
man,
yeah, there's that.
All right, well, I have two stories. One's a happy pick-me-up and one's a funny story.
Okay.
So the happy pick-me-up is a third-grade teacher crocheted by hand mini versions of every student in her class.
Wow.
For a year-end gift.
Wow.
They are so stinking cute. She crocheted.
She only has like 5 students, right?
Nope. There are like 30 of these. It said it takes about 8 hours a kid. So she took like a day for each kid, basically.
Wow.
I'm assuming like they're all wearing the same colored pants and the same colored shirts, right? So the bottom from the neck down, they're pretty much all the same. Well, their hands are different colors, but Yeah, the heads are really the personality, but they're like little mini-me persons that she gave to everybody.
Wow.
Her name is Sarah Shabier. She started the project in May and presented the tiny lookalikes to her third graders this month when they class ended in Tyndale Community School in Oxford, England.
Wow.
It took her 240 hours to do it.
Wow.
That's just insane. She took up the
so
hobby during
impressive.
the COVID-19 lockdown. When the end of term was approaching, she had so much love for the kids in her class. She wanted to give them something special to remember their time.
Wow.
Isn't that cute?
That's so cute.
Very cute. COVID hobby turned into class.
She probably has an Etsy
tradition.
shop, doesn't she?
Probably. Very cute. Crocheted version. So there's not much of a story there other than
so cute.
Teacher does this super cute thing. All right, here's my story. Seattle CBP officers, I don't know why that's hard to say for
that
me.
was tough.
They seized narcotics from the same traveler twice in 1 week.
What?
So Customs Border Protection, that's the CBP, officers in Seattle Tacoma International Airport seized illicit drugs from a U.S. citizen twice.
Wow.
I can't believe.
Wow. Yeah, you're never going to learn. Some people
The
never learn.
first seizure was a couple weeks ago, July 14, when the passenger, a 43-year-old man, was referred for secondary inspection. During the inspection, they found more than 12 pounds of ketamine in both liquid and powdered form, nearly 2 pounds of codeine, and nearly 3 ounces of gamma hydroxybutyrate, GHB.
Wow.
He was arrested, then turned over to the Port of Seattle Police Department. Then, shortly after posting bail, the man was again encountered at the airport. It's like he posts bail and then immediately goes back to criming.
Oh my gosh.
He was trying to board a flight to London. Inside his checked bags, they found more than a half pound of ketamine. And it's like, what? The officers of the Seattle Tacoma International Arrivals facility work diligently to keep dangerous drugs from the streets of our community. They also utilize their unique border search authority to prevent persons from taking the dangerous drugs out of the United States, thus stopping a threat to other countries.
Wow.
He faces charges under Washington state law for possession with intent to distribute. And
I just don't even understand why that wouldn't stop you. It's like, well, gotta keep trying, man.
I'll just
that grind gonna keep grinding.
Right back to it. Have you seen that gif of the sheep that gets pulled out of the ditch and then it immediately jumps back into the ditch? That's what this feels like.
Fool me once, shame on you.
I just,
Wow, that's just so embarrassing.
That's significant. I mean, 12 pounds. This isn't like I have a little
that's
baggie.
no small. Yeah.
This is I have a little baggie and a gallon jug and 2 pounds of codeine. And so they got most of his stuff.
And then they got the rest of his stuff later.
Yeah, he went and got himself a half. What was it? The second time it was like a half pound or something. And it's like, oh my gosh. I
just don't understand how you could not even be fazed by it and be like, well, I'm going to go back and do some more.
I think they were just checking me extra careful this one time. Well, and
it's like someone that gets pulled over for speeding and then they drive away and get pulled over a second time for speeding. It's like, come on, man, you're not going to find you again?
What's happening here?
You didn't even learn your lesson.
Nope. So anyways, that story,
Wow.
I actually found that story a week ago and I forgot about it until today.
And then you were just absolutely amazed by it.
I am. I'm still amazed.
Again.
Yes. Narcotics. CBP.gov. This is their article. So.
Wow.
All right. Are you ready for Sponsor Your Life?
Yes.
All right. What do you got?
All right. So really, it's a true, sponsor of my life, I guess. We had a major plumbing issue in our house. Unforeseen, totally not at all what we were expecting to have to deal with in the first 6 months of living here. But it's a pretty extensive plumbing issues. And so we called a plumber that was recommended to us by my sister-in-law's dad, actually.
Yep.
And so they came out and fixed all of the plumbing in our upstairs bathroom, which was crazy.
Ooh.
And then our sewage drainage pipe to the basement.
Yep.
And
for the plumbers out there, we had a crack in the flange in the toilet.
I just have so much respect for
vent stack had to be replaced.
It was insane how bad it was. It was just poor work from whoever previously decided they were going to DIY the project, and then just some massive drainage issues, which were causing like sewage fumes to come up into the bathroom, and just the tub was bubbling up all sorts of nasty. And so now we have a tub that functions, and I could not be more grateful for the ability to shower in my own home without whatever sludge be bubbling up through the floor. Like, it's so nice. But, you know, now we get to have, you know, this old house JJ building stuff for us all on the floor in the bathroom. So I'm super excited.
What is this old house?
Oh, sorry. You did
like a little dance.
It's a TV show that used to be.
Show?
It's called This Old House.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, I didn't used to watch it when I was a kid. Maybe I watched This Old House. Look it up.
Is it like Bob Vila or something?
Kind of like Bob Vila.
Okay.
Yes.
The one I watched was called Home Improvement, but.
It's so now you get to fix up our bathroom and you know.
And that's been an adventure. It's actually been a lot of fun, and a shout out to Jordan, who has been helping. That's your brother.
That's my brother.
He just redid his bathroom, so he's been able to give me a lot of advice on what to do, because I was a little lost. Like, boy, I was tricky, and he helped me on the first day get it started, and then I did the rest of it.
Everybody's been super, super helpful. Like, I have to say, the amount of people that have helped us out in different ways has been awesome.
Huge.
So.
And yeah, it's been so fun and just really just amazing. And so I'm glad. Even Bergsma was willing to. The plumbing company was willing to work.
Actually,
with us.
they were really. I'm very grateful to them, because the initial estimate was beyond what I had ever imagined. That I was spiraling pretty quickly. But then they did offer, like, they were like, you know, if you do a lot of the demo work yourself, it'll bring the cost down. So I'm grateful to them for, you know, giving us that little bit of extra grace, because it was.
It's much cheaper. Well, and I'm learning to put subfloor down in my bathroom. That's been fun to learn. So.
And we're learning about all the ins and outs of this house now. More than we ever did in our house in Freeland. Gosh. Like, that's crazy.
It is. It has been an adventure. And honestly, I'm proud of the work we've done, and it's going to be even better than it was, but it's just a process. There's a lot to learn. So that's been great.
But what's sponsoring your life?
Oh, and you know what? I just keep thinking of more things. The Olympics have been sponsoring my life lately.
The kids have been super into them.
Oh, it's been just fun, you know. And I like the little NBC app. It's much better now that they've fixed some of the bugs.
To be able to pick and choose what we can watch,
And the boys and I'm really excited that the boys really enjoy. How do I say this? They enjoy switching it up. They don't want to watch the same thing over and over.
They like to
they want to watch new events. They're like, well, we've already watched this.
And they're learning new things.
Yeah, they didn't know what half this stuff was.
We were trying to choose something to watch the other day. I don't remember where you were, but we were watching the Olympics without you, and I think it was Saturday night. Yeah, you were. Yep. But they wanted to watch. They wanted to watch not wrestling. Yeah, they wanted to watch wrestling again, but wrestling is not available. Right. Or was it weightlifting? Maybe it was one of the two.
Yeah.
It wasn't available yet. And so I was like, well, we have to wait until that event is available. Yeah, and so then they were just kind of scrolling, and you look through all the events, and then they were like, what's equestrian? And I was like, oh, that's horseback riding. And they were like, what? A whole new world opened up. Like, we were watching horse jumping, and they were super into it. It's so much fun to introduce them to new events. And so, the Olympics have really been like helpful and interesting. And I know there's a lot of controversy right now. I'm just gonna, just appreciate sport and, watching people who work really hard do what they do.
Yep.
And it's really interesting because our kids are learning a lot. So.
Yeah. So actually, that's a nice segue into. So what we've been thinking about for our topic this week, there have been a lot of misunderstandings that have been happening back and forth, and so there was. In the opening ceremonies, there was this display of like maybe the Last Supper / what's the Greek god Dionysus. Feast of Dionysus.
Yeah,
Dionysus, is that right?
Yeah.
Bacchus. No, anyways.
No, it was Dionysus.
Anyways, it was this big display, and there was a man who was covered in blue paint, and he danced around, and people were upset because they felt like they were making fun of the Lord's Supper.
Right.
Catholic Church, actually it was athletes that were really upset.
Yep.
And they spoke to their coaches, and the coaches spoke to the Olympic organizers saying, hey, that's really disrespectful to our Catholic origins, blah, blah, blah. And then American media got a hold of it and got really mad.
About it.
And then so the artist came out and he's like, well, that's not what I meant. I meant it to be the feast of whatever. I wasn't trying to offend people. So, and they apologized. They released a statement saying sorry about that. Then there was a boxer who some people thought was a trans boxer, and then it turned out she was a AFAB, assigned female at birth, but has high testosterone levels. And then people were arguing back and forth about whether she should be allowed to compete and all this kind of stuff. And there was lots of misunderstandings and fake news. And then do you remember the shooter from Turkey?
Oh yes, you were telling me about this.
So
I didn't
he won
actually see any
silver, but there was a fake story that was going around about how he they were like, he had just gotten recently divorced, and when he was on the podium he said, I don't know if you're watching, but I want my dog back. Turns out that was totally fake. That was nothing. That was just a made-up story somebody did for a joke. He's actually former military. He does have a more relaxed style, so the memes were just on point. They were hilarious. But anyways, there's just this year with the Olympics, there have been an enormous amount of misunderstandings and people jumping to conclusions.
Sure.
So as a fun spin on that, I thought it would be funny to go over best children's misunderstandings.
Okay.
And then you can sprinkle in some of your own stories of misunderstandings if you have any from your childhood or from our kids, because I think we have a lot of fodder.
Sure.
But I have a couple of articles that I think were fun. And so this one is adults saying misunderstandings that they had when they were kids.
Okay.
So this one is, I used to think clowns were a race of people. Like any other types of people. There were white people, and black people, and Asian people, and clown people.
I know. Ooh, that's terrifying. Where do they all live? Where do they all come from?
You know, in Clowntopia or whatever.
The sewer, actually.
One day my little brother came out of the bathroom and said, did you know that Bill Clinton slept with Monica Geller? The fictional character from Friends. I love it. My son thinks the potty train is an actual train. He's really excited to find it.
Oh, that's sad. Poor kid. Actually, you should take him for a treat when he finally gets potty trained. Yeah, you should take him on a train ride.
There you go.
That's so cute.
To my 3-year-old, the song Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars is Up, Down, Funky Butt.
Up, down, funky butt. Actually, that's cute. That's something most kids would say.
After telling my 5-year-old daughter I'm excited because my favorite band is coming to town to play, she ran to her room and started cleaning up her toys. When I asked her what she was doing, she said, Mommy, those are big guys. If they're coming over to play, I don't want them stepping on all my stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
Coming to town to play. As a little kid, I always thought that dogs were boys and cats are girls.
Actually, I used to think that too.
Yeah?
Yep. In my experience, everybody I knew that had a dog, it was always a male dog, and the cats were always female. And I was like, why? And in my experience, like the male cats are better or more docile, and the female dogs are more docile and better.
That's interesting. Yeah.
But like, I knew no one that had male cats, and so I just assumed the same thing.
When my kid asked where babies come from, I told her that two people fall in love and then do adult things together. She said, "Oh, like bungee jumping."
Yes.
Yep, that's how babies are made. When I was younger, I saw an accident on the side of the road, and my mom said, if you have an accident, the cops come, and I thought she meant if I peed my pants, the cops would come to get me.
That poor child. If you ever pee your pants,
oh my God,
the cops are coming for you.
I always wanted to have bangs as a little kid, and I was really upset because I thought you had to be born that way.
Maybe she's born then. Maybe she's just...
I will say, growing up, I always loved the name JJ, and I wanted it, but I thought you could only have it if you were a junior. Like if your first name was Jeremiah, and then my dad's name was Jeremiah. Then I could be JJ because the second J has to be the junior.
I honestly never understood what the junior was until I was like... Probably in middle school. I was like, what the heck? But I didn't know anyone that was that way. Like, I didn't know anybody that was like, you know, Bob Senior and then Bob Junior or something. So,
when the TV went to a commercial, which old, they said, "Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back." I would sit there till the show came back because I thought they could see me and I didn't want them to get mad.
That was you as a kid, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah. I could see myself.
I'll do whatever the TV says.
When I was little, I thought people who died in movies really died in real life. I thought the makers of the movie just found a bunch of people who were ready to end it all and willing to be killed on film.
You used to think lots of things like that. I remember the first time that we ever watched a musical together, you were like, yeah, they totally just sing and dance in the moment.
I did.
And I was like, JJ,
it.
they cut and splice and they have voiceovers. I remember being so
idea.
annoyed that you didn't know that.
I thought, genuinely,
JJ, and I was homeschooled.
It's the ultimate insult to me.
No, because homeschool kids are smarter.
The homeschool kid knew more than me. That can't be right. I thought God had a wife named Gosh.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh. When I was in first grade, a lot of my school's teachers were pregnant. So one day I ran home to tell my mom that my teacher announced that she was expecting a baby too, and she said, I guess she drank the Kool-Aid. The next day we were served Kool-Aid.
What a way to scare your kid.
And I freaked out screaming, I'm too young, I'm too young.
That's so, oh my gosh. I could see myself thinking that as a child.
Just, the kids.
Totally innocent, like not understanding, like, what's in the Kool-Aid? I don't want to have a baby.
My 5-year-old confuses germs with Germans. So
oh my gosh.
When anyone gets sick, he says, you must have Germans inside you.
That's so funny. Better never tell them about World War II.
When I was in second grade, a nutritionist came to talk about healthy eating. She told us hummus was a great snack and it was made of chickpea. I thought she meant chickpea, and I refused to eat hummus until I was 15 and learned that chickpea was a type of bean.
A legume. That is hilarious. And I can see how that would be confusing for a kid.
My 8-year-old posed on a couch at Kohl's. So at Kohl's, he sat on the couch and loudly announced that he looked like he was at the gynecologist. He meant psychologist.
An 8-year-old should never know what a gynecologist is.
My dad was a police officer, and I knew he came home every night. I always thought how dumb the criminals were. Why didn't they just wait for my dad to come home to commit their crimes? That way they wouldn't get caught.
Aw, poor kid.
I love that, though, because that's a kid thinking the whole world revolves around
superhero dad.
Superhero dad.
Yep, that's so cute.
I used to think that steak fries were made from steak.
Yeah, I never understood what steak fries were either as a kid.
I've seen this one. As a child, I thought the deer crossing signs at the interstate meant that deer would cross at exactly that location. I thought it was nice that people put up signs telling the deer where to cross the street. That was do you remember Bill Engvall? He was part of the
Blue Collar Comedy Club.
with Larry the Cable Guy and Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah.
He had his big bit was, here's your sign.
Yeah.
Right? You might be an idiot if here's your sign. And he tells a story about those deer signs and how his wife was like, why don't they move those signs? And it's like, that's not
how it works.
I used to think that bands at the radio stations were playing all the songs live.
Oh boy.
That's right up there with my thinking that musicals were actually singing the songs.
They're singing it in the moment.
When I was 6, my parents took me to the Empire State Building. I thought it was called the Entire State Building because you could, I imagined, see the entire state of New York. And that's why you call it the Entire State Building.
I've never actually been to the top of the Empire State Building because it was too expensive.
It seems very touristy,
That's so cute, though. The Entire State Building.
When I was a kid, I bawled my eyes out watching my parents' wedding video because they didn't invite me to the wedding.
Yeah, what? I remember, no joke. We were looking at our wedding photo book one time. And Ezra was like, now show me a picture of me, now show me a picture of me. And I said, buddy, you weren't there. And he goes, why am I not in these pictures? And I was like, buddy, you weren't born yet. Liam wasn't even born yet. And he got so frustrated that he wasn't in any of the pictures. And I was like, but that doesn't make any sense, buddy. And he goes, no, I want to see a picture of me. And I'm like, not at our wedding. I'll show you a different picture. Maybe the day you were born. But he was very upset.
7 years later.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you weren't even a thought.
Until I was about 7-year-old, I thought that the do not pass signs on the highway meant that cars could not drive past that sign. I always wondered why my mom was breaking the law.
How dare you, Mom? Oh, my goodness. That's funny.
My child asked, how does a childproof cap know whether it's a child or an adult's hand that's trying to open it?
Oh, my goodness.
That's giving it entirely too much.
Cute. That's cute.
When I was a child, my mom kept getting calls from Stanley Steamer. One day I snapped and I yelled, "Who is Stanley Steamer? I thought you were dating Paul."
Oh.
Little did I know that was a carpet cleaning service.
Stanley Steamer. How dare you?
I thought in-laws were family members who had been to prison. When my mom referred to her sister-in-law, I always wondered why my aunt went to prison.
Aww.
When I was little, I thought the song "I Will Survive" was about the girlfriend of an astronaut because of the line, "And now you're back from outer space." I thought she was being really harsh. I mean, he only left her for his job.
I'm not going to lie. I had never heard that song until I was like 14 years old. So I didn't know that song.
I still don't know that song.
You don't know lots of things, though.
I don't. I'm not. All right, let's talk about our best misunderstandings, though, because I think my favorite one forever and always will be when Liam said, "I think it's time to baptize Ezra." I think
actually, all the kids have done that.
Nope.
Ezra still does that.
He thinks baptize is baptized.
Which kind of makes sense
Oh,
because
it's
you're like
super
dunking
cute.
him in the water.
Well, and that's what he thought. He was like, he's getting too big. And he's like, it's not a bird bath, bud.
Yep. My favorite from you is still "Give Up the Goat."
Give up the goat.
Why would
man.
you just give up the goat? And I'm like, what are you...
Ghost.
What are you talking about? You're like, it's a goat. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, it's give up the ghost. What? Why are you so old?
I still don't think give up the ghost makes any sense at all, right? Like, it just doesn't.
That doesn't make you any more right.
My son thinks that since he has 2 testicles, he can have 2 kids when he grows.
That is so cute.
My daughter thinks that those who came before us are called ancestors.
Yeah, if you're a girl, I mean, why not?
My daughter thinks it's funny to say that's a spicy meatball every time she poops.
Oh my gosh. That's terrifying. Why would you say that?
My son thinks the number between 14 and 16 is 15. And frankly, he has a point.
Actually, that is fair.
That's like just good logic.
Yep.
My daughter thinks the past tense of dream is drum.
It is really fun to listen to kid logic. Like
I love it.
The rules, the grammatical rules are there, and like you see how they get there, but it is so interesting to listen to kids' thought processes because they're just using the rules that they know.
Yeah, of course, and they're just logically connecting things with the best they can do. My son thinks Amazon Prime and Optimus Prime are one and the same, and honestly, how cute is it that he thinks a Transformer delivers us gifts?
Honestly, you have no idea how many times I've been talking about Transformers, and Amos says, like Amazon Prime. I mean Optimus Prime. We had a Transformers coloring book for a while, and the amount of times that Amazon Prime popped up was shocking.
And that's why I wanted to do this segment, because on the one, it's so cute. Like, it's such a fun thing, and misunderstandings happen, right? And I think like to the Olympics and all the anger and the outrage back and forth, and it's like, guys, the Olympics are an amazing thing. Like, be able to watch these countries compete on a world stage, and this has been a really positive Olympics of like.
Yeah, it hasn't been like tinged with like the Russians are doping again and they're cheating and all this stuff.
It's been like supporting one another, even when somebody beats you. People have been cheering for their competitors to do well, and that's the spirit of the Olympics. It's like we just want incredible athletes to do the best they possibly can, and the best one's going to come out on top. Because I just love that.
Yeah.
My son thinks the wise men brought the baby Jesus gifts of gold, insects, and more.
Honestly, that's pretty awesome. Oh, Amos would like that.
My daughter thinks the spines on a porcupine are called porks.
That's okay. All of our kids still call him a porcupine. Which, honestly,
Porcupine.
I kind of think
totally
it makes sense. And also, let's talk about how our kids don't call them cannonballs. They call them what do they call it? Cannon bolts. I don't know why.
Oh, interesting.
But they think that a catapult shoots cannon bolts. And I'm like, what is happening? I'm like trying to explain catapult and cannonball, which comes from a cannon. But a catapult does not shoot cannonballs. It was like, you've confused a whole plethora of things there.
My daughter thinks I'm going to a science conferdance, and who am I to correct her?
Cute.
I love it.
That's so fun.
Kids are awesome, and
logic.
their misunderstandings are hilarious. And
they are.
it happens when people make mistakes, and you can apologize and just kind of move on and be happy.
Shrug and move on.
Misunderstandings are okay. That's okay. Except when you get caught with drugs twice in the same week.
Just don't do it. Just back away.
Oh,
back
my
away.
gosh. Just throw a fish cake at him and move on.
Throw a fish cake. Oh boy.
Friends, this has been a fun episode. We enjoyed taking a break, and it's just time for us to talk. And honestly, I'm just baffled that people enjoy listening, but we love that people are listening. So thank you for all of you people who
are listening.
Yeah.
How many times can you use the word listening?
How many times I can fit it into one sentence.
I can see that.
But if you want to support us, definitely give us a shout out on social media, or you can give us a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can actually type up a review. If you do so, we will totally read it out loud, as long as it's nice.
Yeah.
Or any of the podcasts, like wherever you get your podcasts, we try to put it on all the directories. And yeah, we appreciate anybody who shares our stuff. I think that's it. Thank you so much for whoever makes our theme song.
You remembered it last time.
I did, but then I forgot it again. Something about lemon.
It is.
Lemon something.
Lemon grind. That's not right.
No, it's like the Lemon Band or something. Yeah, I can't remember.
Either way.
It's a guy, and he did a good job, and we liked the song, so we're grateful for it. But anyways, are you ready to send us out with a mom joke of the week?
Yes. Why is it bad to iron a 4-leaf clover?
I don't know.
Because you should never press your luck. Painful.
Nice. I like it.
I didn't even get a laugh. I got a nah. All right, bye.
Bye.